Hi everyone, welcome to this week's I Make Stuff. I have a very awesome project that I kind of want to share with you guys this week. But the first thing what we're going to do is we're going to go through how to program the Ryze Tello with Scratch. Scratch is going to allow me to control this drone using my computer and have it do different types of maneuvers without me using my phone. So I'm going to be using my computer to send it inputs. This is going to be needed for the DIY project, so that's why I wanted to go through it first. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut over to my computer to show you how to install Scratch on a Windows computer, and then we're going to use Scratch to control this drone. So let's head on over to the computer. Alright, so here is the Tello Scratch README file that's available on the Ryze Robotics website, and we're going to be going through each of these steps. These steps are geared towards Mac OS, but what we're going to be doing today is Windows. The first thing we're going to have to do is visit scratch.mit.edu/download and download Adobe Air for your OS, Scratch Offline Editor, and if you want to, you can take a look at all of the starter guides and everything like that. So I have already downloaded everything we need, so I'm going to install Adobe Air. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to need is node.js. Just going to install the defaults. After that has been installed, we're going to download the Tello JavaScript file as well as the .s2e file from Ryze Robotics. So from here, what we're going to do is open up Command Prompt, and we are going to navigate to my folder that I have everything in. From here, I am going to make sure that Node is running. We have to still go into the Scratch folder, and yep, so that's where it is. So we're going to go into Scratch, and then here we type in node tello.js. So we can see that the extension is running, and then we're going to install Scratch because I forgot to do that. So Scratch is installing right now. So once you have that installed, you're going to have to hold down the Shift key, click on File menu, and then we're going to import experimental HTTP extension. Then navigate to your S2E file, and then in Scratch we're going to hit more blocks, and here will be all of the Tello controls. You have to make sure that this is green, which means that it would connect to your Tello drone. So now that we have Scratch installed, we're going to do a little demo on how Scratch will control your drone. You're going to need Wi-Fi emitting from Tello, and you're going to use the computer to connect to that Wi-Fi. If you don't know the name of the Wi-Fi, you can look at the instruction manual for your drone. So we're going to be doing this indoors, mainly because the wind is a little too strong outside and the drone will fly, and I don't feel comfortable controlling it just by the computer without a remote. So we're going to do this indoors. So we're going to try Tello and Scratch. I have the Tello on the floor emitting Wi-Fi. I'm going to connect to it so that I am able to send it some commands using Scratch. Okay, so now I'm connected. And what I'm going to do is click on take off. And it should come up on its own. And I'm going to try other things so I can fly to the left, fly back a little bit. I can fly forward. I can make it flip. And then I can also make it land. So there you go. That's how Scratch would be able to communicate with your drone. So there you go. That was the demo for how the Scratch program will actually control your drone. And I have here some electronics that my good friend of mine actually provided to me. The idea came from just a conversation with my husband and I. I wanted to do some long exposure photos with the drone and have the drone spell out different words. My friend Brian actually provided me with the electronics to make this all work. So what this is going to do is attach to the top of the drone, and then the LED is going to turn on and off with my phone. So this stack includes a battery to power the board and then the LED connected to the board. This is a LiPo battery. The board is a feather board, which can be found on Adafruit. I'm going to link all of this down below where you can buy it. And then I believe the LED was through sparkfun.com. I am going to buy my own set after I prove this theory. So this is actually just a proof of concept that I can do this. And then I am going to come up with a more permanent solution to attach this stack on top of the Tello. I had to have a foam base because the propellers needed to spin and the battery was a little too big. So when I buy my own battery, I think I'm going to be buying a smaller capacity, which should be okay. I'm only really going to be flying this for about 10 minutes anyway per drone. And then I'm thinking about either 3D printing or coming up with a way to create a stand for the stack so that I don't have some kind of, cheap way of attaching all of this to the top. But for today, we're just going to use foam, tape, and a little bit of packing material for the board to just prove that this works. So in order for this to work, we're actually going to have to wait till it gets dark because I'm going to be doing some long exposure photography. It is too bright outside right now to get this to work, so we're going to just wait for it to get dark and then I will film the rest of the video. So let's wait for it to get dark and then I'll show you guys what I had in mind. I was able to test this last night, however, we ran into a few issues. The stack of electronics is a little too heavy for the Tello and it was having some trouble staying in the same spot, so it kept drifting. I do have some footage to show you guys as well as a sample picture of what I came up with. So let's cut to that right now to show you my failed attempts. And then I'm going to turn on the LED so you guys can see that. So we're going to take off. So I had two very big problems. I had one where this was too heavy and it would start to drift away. And when it started to drift, I could not control it and I had to land it right away. So that was problem number one. Problem number two is the night photos are a little bit too dark. And what would happen is the vision sensors on the bottom of the Tello did not recognize where the floor was, so it just shot right up. So you guys saw that footage of it hitting my ceiling. So what I want to do next is I actually want to try to scale down the weight of the electronics. So I already have bought a smaller battery as well as another feather board, but this time without the extra assembled soldered parts so that it will cut down on the weight. With a smaller battery as well as a lighter board, I wouldn't have to worry about adding this foam on the bottom, which also added more weight to the payload. So we're going to try this again on another time because I have to wait for the new electronics to show up. But this proves to me that I am able to do some light painting with the Tello. So I'm going to show you guys some pictures right now of what I was trying to achieve. And as you can see, there is a little light streak in this photo. It was a long exposure photo on my camera, and I was trying to get the Tello to write words out. And because this wasn't a successful project, I am going to not include the code that I had used, but I'm actually still going to put the electronics that I used this time, and then I'm going to link the new electronics in my future video. So I am really excited that this sort of worked, but I still want to revisit this again because I really feel like the Tello would be able to do this in the end. Even though I was not completely successful in this DIY, I still wanted to share it with you because I wanted to be completely honest and let you know that the drone is still very capable. It's just limited to the size right now. And to me, I don't want to always show that I am always successful in all the things I do. And I wanted to take you guys on this journey with me on all of these projects. So I am hoping to revisit this after my trip at the end of April, and I want to get this to write something, you know, in a long exposure photos. And I hope you guys were at least able to get some ideas for what you can do with the Tello, as well as helping you guys install Scratch on your computers. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.